A big hello to all you content enthusiasts, and I'm glad that you're watching this video because by the end of this video, you'll know how to make the perfect content strategy in just 15 minutes. Now, before I proceed, I would like to tell you all that you can drop in your feedback and your suggestions in the comments below, and I will definitely get back to each one of you. So let's move ahead with this video. This video is all about learning how you can make the perfect content strategy in just 15 minutes. Now, we will not make the content strategy. However, you will learn how to make a content strategy and what structure you should follow, what steps you should follow, and what you should do from your side to ensure that you have a good content strategy that your audience wants more of, that your readers want more of, that your consumers want more of, right? So the first thing that we need to look at is what's that? What is content strategy? Now, content strategy is about these four elements, that is planning. It's very important to have the right plan, the right pathway, and the right roadmap if you want to move ahead in the right direction, in the right way. So always have your blueprint, always have a plan as to how you want to take ahead your project, with what step you want to move ahead at what time. So have the right plan. The second element is creating. This is where the real meat is. This is what we do. This is where we create our content. This is where we work hands down on our content. So creating your content is the most important part of building a good content strategy. The third thing is developing. Now, what happens is a lot of times when we create our content, right, there are a couple of iterations that are required. We as content creators know that there could be multiple rounds of iterations that we have to go through, right? So that comes in the developing phase, because you enhance your content, you iterate your content, you want to make it better, right? So that is the developing phase. The fourth element is nothing but delivering. So this is why we do everything to publish our content, to put out our content for our audience, and to deliver it at the right time on the right platform. So these are the four elements of content strategy, that is planning, creating, developing, and delivering. Have your plan intact, create the right content, iterate, subtract, and add the right content in your developing phase, and then deliver the right content on the right platform for the right people, right? Moving ahead, the purpose. Now, the purpose of why should you have a good content strategy? Why should you invest your time and energy on a good content strategy, right? So the purpose of having a content strategy in place is to create crisp content. Just like how Nike did it, their tagline is just do it. The minute you hear these three words, you know it is associated with Nike. So that is the level of impact these three words have. They are just three words, crisp and small, but we all know about it. We all recognize it. And that is the power of a good content strategy. Content that people can recognize, content that people are aware about, content that people can associate with. So Nike has done a fabulous job, just three words, and everyone can associate with the brand, right? The second thing is meaningful content. It is very important to have meaning in your content, because if you do not connect with your audience on an emotional level, it's very likely that they will forget you in no time. They will not remember your content. They will not take your content ahead with them, right? So having meaningful content is of utmost important, just like how LIC did it. जिंदगी के साथ भी, जिंदगी के बाद भी. This is perfect for our Indian audience. It connects with us. We build a rapport with it. We connect with this line. जिंदगी के साथ भी, जिंदगी के बाद भी. It gives a kind of reassurance to us. So LIC has done a fabulous job. So this is a very meaningful content that we all are aware about. We all remember it. We can immediately associate this with LIC, right? Now the third is engaging content. It is very important for you to ensure that your content is engaging and that it keeps the audience hooked on. Because if your audience is not engaged with your content, if they are not hooked on to your content, it is very less likely that they are going to praise your content or acknowledge your content. So L'Oreal Paris has done a fantastic job because you're worth it. They are outright speaking out to their clients. They are outright speaking out to their audience and telling them that they are worth it. Now, who doesn't want to know that they are worth it? Who doesn't want to hear it, right? So L'Oreal Paris here has done a fantastic job in giving content that is engaging, that they're speaking out to their customers directly. Now, the fourth point is sustainable content. It is very important to have sustainable content that could be used at all times, just like Coca-Cola has done. Open happiness, they use this for all their advertising campaigns, right? Whether it is Diwali, whether it is Christmas, whether it is New Year, whether it is Holi, these two words, they are just two words, they are crisp yet sustainable. These two words can be used all year round by Coca-Cola, and this is something very smart that they have done. This is something very good that they have done. Now let's move ahead to the 5 questions you should ask yourself. The 5 questions you should ask yourself before you start creating your content. The 5 questions that are a must before you start building your content. What are these 5 questions? Who is your target audience? So understand your target audience, understand their geographical region, their socio-economic background, where do they come from, how you could relate to them. So understand who your target audience is and create your content accordingly. The second question you should ask yourself is, what platform will you publish your content on, right? Whether it is social media, whether it is print media, you need to first differentiate the platforms that you want to publish and get out your content on, right? The third question you should ask yourself is, what is the nature of your content? Is it a sales driven content? Is it an informative piece of content? Is it a marketing content? So identify the nature of your content also. The fourth question you should ask yourself is that, what is the end goal? What do you wish to achieve by publishing this content? What is it that you want your audience's reaction to be like? So always understand the end goal of your content and create it accordingly. Last but not the least, the fifth question you should ask yourself is that, what are your limitations? What are your brand guidelines? What is it that limits you? How much could you explore with your content? So always have that in place, because that reduces the scope of iteration in the future, right? So know your limitations, know your barriers, and work around them, if not beyond them. Okay, so these are the 5 questions you should ask yourself. Moving ahead, now that we have these 3 points clear, how do you kickstart your content strategy? So kickstart your content strategy with mind mapping, storyboarding, and research. Very often what we as content strategists do is we forget this part. We think it's time consuming, and hence we directly move on to creating the content, right? Now this is something that's absolutely wrong, that we shouldn't be doing, and industry experts also say the same thing, that the first step is laying the foundation. Unless you have the good foundation, you will not be able to create the right pathway to move ahead in the right direction, right? So always, do your mind mapping, know your blueprint, know your roadmap, know how you want to take your project ahead. Now storyboarding is again very important during the initial phase, because it helps you create the right roadmap. It helps you understand how you want to take your content strategy ahead, on what steps do you want to take it ahead, right? And research is of utmost importance. I have said this in my previous videos as well, that we as content strategists often do not give research the kind of importance it should get, right? But research is very important. Conduct thorough researches about your audience, about your product, your service, your brand, the market trends, what's happening around, everything. Now, once you have kick-started, right, what do you do next? Moving on to the next step, while you're creating your content, while you're building a content strategy, you should do a keyword research. Now, we all want our content to rank at the top, right? We all want good rankings, we all want good traffic for our content, and that is only possible if you have the right keywords in place. So, always conduct a thorough research about your keywords, shortlist the keywords that are ranking high, and incorporate them in your content to have the maximum traffic and to have the maximum number of eyeballs looking at your content. The second thing is a content style guide. This helps you maintain consistency and uniformity throughout your content creation journey. A content style guide not only helps you maintain uniformity and consistency throughout your content creation journey, but it also helps you document and then further refer to, right? So you have documented your style guide is a documented copy, right? You could refer to it and use it for other projects as well. So it's of a lot of importance. It helps you maintain uniformity, stability, consistency, and you can also refer to this for other projects. The next point is the content length. So very often we as content strategists are unable to define the length of our content. So sometimes we write lengthy content, sometimes we write small content. Ideally, it depends on the project you're writing for, it depends on your work scope that you're writing for. However, it is advised that you keep your content crisp and clear. Try to keep it as small as possible, because people do not read much. People do not want to read lengthy stuff, right? And it is also proven that people often read the first 3 words and the last 3 words of your content. So try to make that interesting, try to make that engaging, try to have engaging and catchy headings for your content. That's how you can have people wanting to read more of your content. So pay attention to your content length. Do not make it too lengthy and too boring for the reader to read, because then they will not read the entire thing. Last but not the least, audit your content. Now it is very important for you to audit your own content as well as audit content around in the market. What that helps you do is that helps you understand the requirement of your users. That helps you understand what is trending in the market, right? So conduct an audit of the content that is circulating around in the market, content that is trending, and try to learn and get inspiration from that. So always conduct a audit of your content and of the content that is trending outside in the market as well, to stay up to date and to stay in the trend and to give the audience what they actually want, right? Moving ahead, let's go to the ready to launch phase. This is where we are almost ready. So create your draft, create a rough draft, write down. Very often we advise you to write down your content. So authentic content writers will always prefer writing with a pen and paper instead of typing. But I do understand that we all have crunch times and we all have timelines that we have to attend to. So writing on your computer is completely fine. Typing on your computer is completely fine. So you start with a draft. This draft will not necessarily be your final copy, right? This is a draft. So you can go a little easy with it. You can take your time. You can think about it, right? The second thing is add the meat. Once you start with your draft, once you start iterating your draft, that is when you understand what you actually need to put there. Subtract and add content accordingly. It is okay to subtract content as long as it is helpful, it is useful, it is usable and not useless. So you can subtract, because very often we as content writers hesitate to subtract any form of content because we have written that, right? But what we need to understand is that subtracting content is also enhancing content, right? So do not hesitate in subtracting or adding any content. The next step is iterate and revise. This is something that we continuously do. We always iterate, we always revise for better and enhanced versions of our content. So this is a part of our job and we should do it all the time. The next thing is take a second opinion. Now what happens is when we are creating content, we have a particular perspective in mind. We have our own mind frame that we work towards, right? What we need to understand is that taking a second opinion is helpful. It is good because you get a viewpoint of your content from an external person, from a person who has no idea about what you have written. from a person who has a completely different mind frame. So always be open and be ready to take second opinion and feedbacks from people to enhance your copy or content. Now, audit content. Here again, we have audit because it is very important for you to audit your own content to ensure that you do not have plagiarism, to ensure that you have unique content, to ensure that your content is right. Last but not the least comes for the time where we all wait. We all wait to publish our content. We all wait to deliver our content. Always understand the timing that you want to deliver your content on. Always know what is happening in the market and publish your content accordingly so that it is relative to the market trends, it's relative to what's happening around, and people can connect with it. So always find the right time and the right place and the right platform to publish your content on if you want to really reach out to the right audience and create a rapport with them. Moving on, last but not the least, easy, not complex. So there's something that I want you all to understand is that creating a good content strategy is not as complex as it seems like if you are dedicated to it and if you have the right focus to it. Also, if you follow these points, if you follow these pro tips, you are sure to create good content strategy that has your readers eyeballs rolling and wanting for more, right? So as simple as it sounds, it is. Here we come to the end of this video. I hope that this video helps you understand and helps you learn how to create the right content strategy in 15 minutes. Now, something that I want to tell you all is maybe the first time may not work, but eventually as you work on this over the period of time, you would become a master of creating good content strategy. So if you have any feedback, any suggestion, write down in the comments below and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you.